you love takeaway, travel, and international cuisines? Then you're going to love the Takeaway Man podcast. Join Kevin Kerwin, the Takeaway Man, as he searches for the best international food delivery services accompanied by popular musicians, comedians, and artists. But here's the catch. Each guest gets to pick their food delivery service, order their unique menu items for up to $20, and give a thorough review on it, so you can get the best value for your money next time you order takeaway. You can also enjoy the entire experience on Instagram by following @TheTakeawayMan. Sit back and turn up the volume because Kevin is here.
Hello and welcome to the Takeaway Man podcast. Today on the Takeaway Man podcast, we have Ros Finan and Neville Lawless, both extremely, absolutely amazing photographers that are based in Dublin, Ireland. So today we're going to be getting some pizzas. So the two lads are after ordering some pizzas that are going to be based in Dublin. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Nev is Lawless Ireland. That's based up on Instagram, as well as you have your own website and all, and you're selling prints and all of that stuff.
I do, Kev, yeah. So it's Lawless Ireland is my Instagram page, and it's lawlessireland.com is my website. Don't really play with Facebook. I just got sick of the natter on there, having to talk to people. Like, Instagram is just a nice place just to post my images and connect with all you guys. Like,
happy days. Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I still, with the Takeaway Man, I do have a Facebook page on it, but it's just sitting there. It's kind of dead in the water at this stage. I don't really know what the crack's happening with it. And Ross, I'll let you say your own handle, because you change your handle every 20 minutes. So I can't even remember the last time.
I've changed it twice.
You've changed it too many times for someone. So what is your official Instagram? What is your official Instagram handle this week?
My official Instagram handle this week is Ros_Finan_. Originally, it was Ross Huawei, because I started out, photography using my phone, which was a Huawei, and I actually work for Huawei. So, I'm actually, it's something that I wanted to get into, and, it's probably one of the best selling features of the phones themselves is the cameras. So I thought it would be a good way to show off the camera quality in the photos, and then started up that Instagram page, and then kind of just moved on from that. And the reason I changed my name from Ros Huawei is because I actually bought a Fuji. So I didn't want to, confuse people and let them think the pictures from my Fuji were from my phone. So I wanted to kind of separate that, and so I just called myself just my own name with some underscores. Because for some reason, I think I made not a fake one, but I made an Instagram page before, and obviously that name was gone, so I couldn't use that just my own name. So I do sell prints also. I don't have a website, but I do sell prints, and anything on my page is available.
Cool, happy days. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you guys both on the podcast today. One was because you're both industry professionals when it comes to photography. So Ross, I think your bread and butter originally started with the likes of the phone photography and mobile photography, and then with Nev, then he basically came in and blew everybody out of the water with some cool futuristic, all of his kind of what's the name of that movie?
Blade Runner style.
Blade Runner.
Yeah. I think that's something everybody remembers. They associate Neville with. Like, you can really get those misty neon light shots around Dublin that no one else can seem to capture. He captures it perfectly, and it looks just like Blade Runner. It's amazing.
But that's just not me. That's just getting out when it's nice and foggy and misty, and at 10 o'clock at night when you're supposed to go to bed, and you just get lucky. Deceiving people with what I think the world looks like versus what it actually looks like is something we try and do as much as we can, I think. People don't like to be faced with that fact that people use Lightroom or Photoshop and stuff to make things look better, but that's the way it is.
That is one thing that I actually it was a huge big eye opener when following you guys on your Instagram and seeing your stories and stuff like that, is when you actually do post up your original photo. But not only that, is then you do the how-to to get to where you're at then when it comes to the actual edited piece, or the piece that would be sold as a print then, which is, in one sense, which is absolutely mind-boggling, because I think there's so many people out there that think that, I'm after buying a really expensive camera, and with this really expensive camera, I can now take photos like this. And you do have that sort of element to it, but there is also the sitting down, the rendering, the putting all the stuff, all these edits, all of your own your own personal like filters and stuff like that, and gradients and all that kind of stuff, where people would just think, I have the most expensive camera, it's going to take the best photo.
Yeah, sadly not. Like there's a good bit of work goes into photography, but like 90% of it is getting out and standing out in the rain, shooting on a landscape or on a beach or somewhere, or walking around the street at night, hope you're not going to get robbed by junkies or something. But that's the main part of it. But then you have to sit down and cull through hundreds or thousands of pictures every other month and select your best, work through them and try and edit them. That whole process of tweaking your colors, tweaking your contrast, tweaking your levels, and just trying to make it more like our eyes see, because what you take on the back of a camera can't be replicated as what we visually see, really. So you're trying to sort of boost what we can get on a computer screen or your phone or a print ultimately.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that I've noticed, especially because like I have a Canon 600D, I have the Huawei P40 Pro, I had all really, really good kind of cameras, you know. But one of the big things is that you're putting yourself in these situations where you want to take a really good photo, and you do think you take a really good photo, except for me, I had my sunglasses on at the time. And the whole thing was just destroyed, because what I thought, I was looking through the viewfinder and taking a photo, it was completely different. Yeah, because it was a polarized picture, there's filters, there's all this kind of stuff. And then when it came to editing, it just looked like a piece of shit. And there was just like, has there been any times where you've thought you've taken, say, like, this is my print, this is going to be like front page of the Irish Times, and you've gotten home and you've put it through Lightroom or whatever, and it's just like, where is this gone?
Yeah, 99% of pictures.
All the time.
Like if you go on a day shooting around the street or something, you're like, I took hundreds of photos, and you end up with like 3 that you keep, one that you might really like. So the culling process there is huge. Like you really have to be a harsh critic, I think.
Definitely. And I think even like myself and yourself now, like sometimes when we go shooting together, we might go for a few points or something, and we take some photos, you know, after a few points. And we're like, Jesus, that's a daily photo. And then you get to see it the next day, and it's blurry as fuck, and it's out of focus. So you think it looks deadly, like. But yeah, that's happened more than once, I think, with me, for sure. It's all the fun of it, though. You know, you even after that, you still come up with some good stuff, you know. That's the whole point of it, is getting out and shooting, like, you know. It's like anything. If you don't practice it, like, you don't progress. Like, you have to just keep going out and shooting. Otherwise, even with me, like, I think there was a stint there for a good few weeks that I hadn't even picked up the camera. And when I picked it back up again, like, you know, I was taking photos and like my exposure was all over the shop and my focus was wrong. And it was just took me a while to get back into, you know, shooting proper again, because I just, you know, like anything, once you stop doing it, you get rusty, really. Like,
yeah, I totally like this, all this lockdown crack. There's been a lot more takeaways than photography, for sure. Like,
something that you guys dabbled on just a little bit earlier on was drinks. So you talked about drinking and togging, drinking and photography, and you know. So I was putting a statement that there's like maybe once or twice we do this now. On the beer every time we go shooting. One thing that definitely is a credit to the likes of yourselves and the guys that you work with is there is a very, very good, passionate community. Because like there's been times now where I've been driving through town on the way home from work, and especially when it comes to sunsets and stuff like that, there's a group of like 10 lads, they all have tripods, some other guys are all doing that stuff, and you're driving past them and you're like, oh, I wonder, are they the lads? Like, because everyone's all connected, you know, and everyone has their thing, and it's definitely it's to be honest, it's kind of coming into a bit of a sport, really, where you're right, Kev. Like, it's sort of like it's not just the usual sort of hobby but it is definitely massively increased with popularity, especially from Instagram and likes to say. But like what you're saying there, like I don't remember seeing people walking around with cameras the whole time and sitting or standing on the bridge with the tripods. But now it's just common occurrence, really. Yeah, definitely, yeah. And even when it comes to like groups and awards and stuff like that, Ross has been nominated for the iGears award, and I think, Nev, you're one of the judges on it as well, aren't you? So for this year, yeah. You see, like, that's the thing, you know, like, to be able to create such a cool kind of community and go out and not only that, it's something where it's really cool is that you don't hold your secrets, you know. It's kind of like one thing that I've noticed as well when it comes to like the guys in Texas, when it comes to barbecue and stuff like that, they go, here's the meat we use, here's the sauce we use, here's our seasoning, best of luck. And I think it kind of comes across as the same way with photography, because everybody is so open with it. You're posting up your shutter speed, you're posting up like all that kind of stuff, you know, you're posting up all the aspect ratios and even the computer programs that you've edited on, the camera equipment that you've used, and then you just kind of stand back and go, best of luck using that. You know? Yeah,
like it's all a formula, isn't it? It's not just you can have all the settings and gear and all you want, but you have to be able to go out. You have to be out in the right conditions or finding the right scenes and stuff. So you know, you can give a man a way of doing something, he can go do it, but ultimately they have to figure it out themselves. Like,
you have to be willing to put your €3,000 camera down the side of a pool of junkies piss to take a photo of a reflection.
I keep breaking up here. I'm going to try my Wi-Fi again, right?
On that bombshell. So what happened was when Ross went in and put his original order through for his pizza today, he instead of going with his favorite, you know, his kind of locals only, he said, oh, there's a new pizza place that they're coming up. It's just come up on Just Eat. There's no real reviews on it. So he says he'll give it a bash. But it's actually so new that the restaurant didn't even know their menu. So when it was delivered out to him, they forgot a load of stuff. They forgot his side order, basically. And he rang them up and your man was like, oh, no, that's not there. And he was like, oh, no, it is. It's on Just Eat. And he's like, Jesus, it is. Sorry about that. Sure, we'll send one over to you now. That's great. So that's why Ross is running around like a headless chicken there to try and get everything sorted.
You don't mind at all if they're like, oh, our bad, we'll sort it out. A couple of weeks ago, me and my girlfriend got McDonald's, being ultimate fat bastards, and it's only up the road, like, and fucking they shipped out all the stuff, but there's no fries with any of the orders, like. Whoa. So we rang up McDonald's, like, yeah, you give us McDonald's but no fries, so that's absolutely pointless.
What's the point?
That's blasphemy, that is.
The manager of McDonald's like, nothing to do with us, it's Just Eat's fault. They forgot to bring it and bring up Just Eat, and they're like, McDonald's,
they love the name Just Eat, don't they?
And we spent hours like trying to fucking get our money back and everything is disaster. So fuck you, McDonald's. Keep that in.
Yeah, like that is the thing though, and it's what people don't really understand is when it comes to ordering takeaway. Like, if you do want to support the likes of a local restaurant or any of that kind of stuff, you are going to have to just order it from their website, order it from the likes of the Boujum website, whatever, because there's no cut, there's no fee then, that kind of stuff. So when you're ordering from Just Eat are basically, or Just Eat, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, whatever, they are a courier company. That's it. Yeah. You know, it's a company that will bring it from A to B to you for, at the time it was amazing price. It was like, what, £2 to get it delivered? Sure, I'm not walking up the road, I'll just get it delivered £2. Like, we had George Motes on the podcast there, and they've had delivery over in New York for Jesus, however many years now, and we're only really starting to dabble into it. But he ordered a pretzel, a schnitzel, and a pint, and it came in at nearly $50. But $20 of that was to do with taxes and charges and all this kind of stuff. Like, so the restaurant themselves, they get charged per order, per item, as well as then like an overall delivery fee. So any of the food that you're ordering, and it's the same in Ireland, is that there's always going to be a different price. There's going to be a Just Eat price, a Deliveroo price, and then your standard restaurant walk in the door price.
Yeah, I find as well on like their own official websites, they actually have better deals, you know, like different deals they'll post up. What was one? I think there's a chicken place in town, or just in Stony Batter there, called All Bar Chicken. Absolutely savage. Like, the wings are amazing and the chicken burgers are really, really good. But they do all these different kind of deals. But like, Just Eat will only show you half of the deals they do. Whereas you go onto their website, they've actually got way more. Like, and like, for what you get, like, value for money is really good. But like, probably some of the best wings I've tried now in a while.
Oh, big statement.
Yeah. We had this conversation the other day. Best wings in Dublin, and it's, I don't know, I think some people like certain type of wings as well. Like, you know, I like big, juicy, meaty ones, but they have to be buffalo sauce and doused, but like, can't be too vinegary either. Yeah. And they have to have a nice big, like, slab of stick of celery as well. I think that's key. One of the little tiny
weird thing,
tiny bits of celery, a big slab of celery, a big massive stick of it.
Yeah, the celery for me is the thing that automatically goes straight in the bin. I'm like, oh, I stir the sauce with it. I'm like,
the palate cleanser. That's about it, you know?
No, that's what cleanses your palate so you can get more wings into you.
I just inhale the things. I'm like Homer Simpson eating them like a duck. There's like bones and all at one stage. I didn't even care. One thing that I'd love to bring into Ireland though would be lollipops. Have you ever seen chicken lollipops?
Chicken? It's on sticks.
So basically what you do is you have your original sort of drumstick that you'd get from the chipper or whatever, but you cut the top part of the skin down and then basically get all of the thigh meat and then bring it down with all of the skin at the very bottom, and then you'll oven fry them that way. Put tin foil on the top of the bone and then you oven fry them with hot sauce, whatever. So basically you're getting about 10 chicken wings in one, but they're called lollipops. They're chicken lollipops. I think they'll sell millions in Ireland.
Sounds real, actually, yeah.
I'll post a bit.
Do a picture. I'm intrigued now because I've never seen anything like this.
You've never seen it.
Basically.
I'll be my own. I'll be my own producer. I'll be my own Jamie today.
Bring up a picture.
Yeah, bring it up there.
Yeah.
So get ready for this.
Yeah, I think for me,
so here we go.
Wishbone. Give us a look at these.
These are called chicken lollipops.
Holy shit, they're fucking savage looking.
Oh.
So it's kind of like
look good.
It's getting 10 chicken wings in one, but you still have all of the sauce. You see, and then the way they come out. So when they wrap them in tin foil, it means that the bones won't shatter when you eat them and you pick them up. Yeah. So and then you see like the likes of these ones. You know, I honestly think these would be the next ones. You know.
All right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, to the listeners that can't see this, it looks like they look like nearly like lamb shanks or something with the bone sticking out.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
Yeah,
with the tin foil on the bone.
Yeah, tin
and then some of them kind of look like onion bhajis the way they're fried.
Some of them are a bit. The likes of these things. Yeah.
Oh my god, they're mad look.
Yeah,
they look good though.
Yeah, no, they're whopper. Like so, and that's the thing. Like, because it's the thigh meat as well. It's kind of the dark meat, so it tastes real nice. We went through drink. So drink. For me, it's something that Ross is going to rub me up the wrong way. I know it's going to be horrible, but water.
Fizzy water all the way.
Still
water. Yes, I listened to you before giving out about sparkling water. It's so refreshing, and you know what? It's great for your teeth because you're not drinking all the sugary bits. If you're trying to give up fizzy drinks, fizzy water is amazing. It's also amazing when you're hungover. It's so refreshing.
It's straight up lies. Neville, what's your views on?
There's going to be people who agree with me, though. I know that. Neville,
with a takeaway, no way. But,
so you see, what happens if you sit down?
I wouldn't never order with a takeaway, but I like drinking it. Like I'd always order a can of Coke.
Swiftly takeaway talk, like no.
Oh right, okay. I just thought you said which do you prefer. I obviously prefer sparkling water to still water, but if I'm getting a drink on my takeaway, I'd always order like a can of Coke, the OG Coke.
You can actually get like natural still. You can get natural spring water that does come in kind of like semi kind of carbonated as well. I like that stuff. You know, when you kind of go into a fancy restaurant and you go in and they give you the bottle of water and you're like, hold on a minute, I'm after getting 4 bottles of water and they've charged me €15, even though you think you're getting them for free. But
it's like San Pellegrino stuff. That's the good stuff.
It's so good though. Like that water is absolutely amazing.
Can I just point out while we're out on drinks as well? Another thing I love is, you know, sometimes, you know, in the shops you can only buy like the tall cans of Coke now.
Oh yeah.
But when you order a takeaway, sometimes you get the lovely little stubby cans. So much better than tall cans. I actually think they taste different.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Glass bottles game different again. Like.
Exactly. It's like Coke out of a glass bottle, Coke out of a bottle, Coke out of a can. They all taste different to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Big time. So, and that kind of moves us in. So we kind of go water, fizzy drinks, and now we're on to the most Irish question that we have. It's the question that causes the most controversy on the podcast so far. It's alcohol. With the likes of the alcohol stuff, is actually kind of goes into another cool transition to where I got my beers from today. So I've been ordering because I live down the sticks and there's no proper off license and stuff like that. Now I have to start ordering my beers Basically, I like kind of craft beers and stuff like that. So I ordered them from craftdirect.ie. And because I've been ordering so many beers, and I've explained to him that it's going to be on the podcast, Eamon and craftdirect.ie sent me a couple of little sneaky ones. So, yeah, I'm after today. I'm going to be going with Smash IPA from Wicklow Wolf, as well as, or it depends and see how we go. Lochgill, Cutback New England Session IPA as well. So I kind of went with two light beers to go well with a pizza. You don't want a real kind of heavy stout or anything like that for pizza. So they're kind of the two alcoholic beverages that I have today. But what about you guys? Are you guys on the fizzy drinks? Are you having a few beers? What are you thinking?
Yeah, just got a Coke Zero with the pizza. There's a lot of beers yesterday, so we're up tomorrow. So
you're off the.
Generally, if we're getting a takeaway, I wouldn't get any beers or anything.
Yeah, like
that's ordering wings. I always have beer with my wings.
Yeah.
Always a good combo to have a nice Peroni or like a Heineken with your beer or a light lager, you know.
Cool. Well, no, I honestly think like it has to be kind of like a really cold, the likes of a refreshing. I kind of go into more of the IPA stuff now, or even a Heineken, just a standard cold Heineken. But sure, Jesus, what I do to get a draft pint of Heineken right now, oh my God. The struggle is real.
Just need something crisp and refreshed to sort of clean the palate. Like,
that's exactly it.
Deal, no deal.
All right, so the next sort of questions is actually to do with the meals that we got today. So unfortunately, because I live down the sticks and it's a bank holiday Monday, all of the restaurants and all of the stuff that I would have kind of wanted to support or whatever, they're actually all closed today because of the situation that we don't want to talk about. So I went to Super Value and I got like the next best thing, which is their sourdough, non-sponsored sourdough pizza. It's amazing. It cooks in 15 minutes, and probably feed about a family of four or one fat guy. So
small portion.
And then I went with some Super Value chicken goujons, which are there already gone. I'm after inhaling them at the start. But what about yourselves, guys? What did you go with today?
All right. So I got I live in Inchicore in Dublin 8. So there's a nice Italian restaurant down in Kilmainham called La Dolce Vita. So I hopped on to Just Eat. So it's an Italian restaurant, obviously. I popped on to Just Eat and just flicking through the pizza prices. They're all about 16, 17 euro for a single pizza. I was like, it's a bit pricey.
Bit much.
Then I saw the Monday to Thursday deal. It's a bank holiday Monday. So I got two pizzas for 18 euro there. So happy out. So one for me, one for herself.
One for herself as well. Good stuff. And does it come with any sides or whatever?
I just got some garlic pizza bread and garlic bread. So nice proper like soft thin crust pizza. Much more for. I got nice goat cheese, pepperoni, and caramelized red onion.
Nice,
delicious. Yeah, very good.
And what about yourself, Ross? What did you get? Did you get any meal deals? Well, I think we got
a meal deal, right? So I ordered from a new place that I've never ordered from before. It seems to be relatively new. I live in Blanchardstown, so Dublin 15 area, and it came up on Just Eat. It's called Pizza Express. And I went for the meal deal for two special. So you get a pizza, cheese fries, queso fries they're called, and I got dippers, chicken dippers, but you can pick like nachos and other fries and stuff as well.
Cool.
So, and then I got two dips and two drinks, and it was all together it was like €20.99 plus delivery charge. So I thought it was like really good value for everything. That's you get. Good, yeah. For 20 quid, like you're getting a pizza, two sides, two dips, and two drinks.
Can't go wrong with that. And how many people does it say?
Domino's would be hitting 30 quid with that one.
Yeah, easily. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not a big fan of Domino's. I think they're very overpriced for what you get. But this is actually really good. The pizza's pretty decent. You know, if I was comparing it to Sano yesterday, there's like it's a different style of pizza. You know, altogether I think. But it's actually really good. The toppings and all are really good and fresh and nice. And the cheese fries are amazing.
The cheese fries. Yeah.
Cheese fries are really good.
Happy days.
And they're like very similar to the Eddie Rockets cheese fries with that cheese sauce on them. Nice. It's not like grated cheese, so like they're really, really good, really tasty.
Melty cheese.
Can I add? It feels nice. Rather than just stuffing my face watching Netflix, just talking about food. I feel a less scummy. Eat a big dirty takeaway.
Feel justified tonight eating this instead of just doing it in front of the TV.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, lads. I'm more than likely gonna get 4-1 after this now. But about 10:30, just go in and just sit there and start crying. The usual work in the morning kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Watch it rainy. Yeah,
as you can see, the dog and the cat are in the background. The two of them are actually best buds. Gloria is now turned into George because I fattened the cat up so much that I didn't know I had testicles. And when I brought the cat to the vet was kind of like, "Why did you call your cat Gloria?" And I was like, "Oh, well, it was because it was called Scabby, and it was a real kind of scabby cat, but it's not Scabby anymore because I've been taking care of it. So I needed to change the name. So I changed the name to Gloria." And he's just like, "That's a female cat's name." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a female cat." And he just sort of looked at me with 10 heads. Anyway, I bring the cat back to the vet and all, and I was like, "Yeah, grand." And your man, because he only saw her there like a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Still going with Gloria?" Yeah. I was like, "Yep." I was like, so I have a male cat named Gloria because I'm not changing her name anymore, his name, whatever. So yeah, that's the crack. The two of them
that's
are
the only thing you've misgendered ever.
I think one of the biggest things that I've definitely missed is just being able to because I moved down to Wicklow, but I'm not that far away. Like I'm 40 minutes away, but I may as well be on a different planet, because it's like, even in regards to say like takeaways and stuff down here, and it's actually happened. It's actually after happening to a lot of people. It was where like there's literally just the chipper and just the Chinese. If I wanted to go and get like a Domino's or a KFC or whatever, I have to drive to a different county. Like I have to drive to Carlow in order for me to do that. And then that's the thing. Like, so I don't know. It kind of puts it in a bit of a perspective when you have to go and cook your own food for once. But it's not great when you're called the takeaway man and that's all you do is eat takeaway food. So it's a bit much.
Takeaway.
I didn't hear no bell.
So we have the next question is I didn't hear no bell. So that was the main meal. So we kind of talked about that already. And what toppings, or was there any sort of fusion mashup? One thing that's kind of happening now is you're kind of getting these kind of like hoisin duck tacos or Szechuan tacos or anything like that, or kind of like fajita chicken or like chicken tikka and stuff like that as toppings on your pizza. So was you just go standard pepperoni or was it anything kind of fancy?
Well, yeah, no, mine was classic Italian. It was it's ghost cheese, pepperoni, and some nice caramelized red onion. So it's classic enough, I suppose. It's tasty.
Nice. And Ross, what about yourself?
I went for like this Tuscan chicken one. So like chicken, it actually has like Italian sausage. Like it's like proper like chicken breast pieces with real thick ones. So pretty good. Mushroom, peppers, and some olives as well.
Cool.
So that was really good.
Oh, happy days. Then after the meal, so we're after finishing all the meals there. How are you feeling? You feel like you can go out and run a marathon? Or you like, what's the crack?
Oh yeah, sure.
Definitely
That's exactly what I'm going to do now.
Go home for a snooze in front of Netflix after this, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you go for a little sneaky sleep. And then one thing as well, which is the dreaded word that happens to anybody that likes kind of eating food and eating out on a regular basis is intolerances. So has there ever been a case where you've kind of gone in and you've eaten something? I know Ross has happened a good few times because I've been with him at the time where he's gone, "What you mean there's cream in that donut?" And he's like sprinted off down the road going, "Oh, Jesus." So what about yourselves? Has there ever been a case where you've eaten something where you were like, it's all right. Sure, I love raw shellfish or something along them ideas and you kind of rubbed you up the wrong way?
Yeah, definitely. I was in Morocco a good few years on holiday, and we're in the Medina, the big square there, and go around. You smell all the food and all the sights and stuff. But they had like sheep's brains as some delicacy. I was like, I'm the man. I'll try this. I'll do a challenge here. Sat down and a plate of sheep's brains looks exactly what it sounds like. It's a horrible looking brain.
Like it's jelly.
Yeah, it was absolute. I'd never do it again. Anyway, so we ate that, and that's fine. Went home for night, and maybe was it something another bit of food along the way of the holiday. But the next day, my girlfriend, she was very sick, and I thought I'd escaped. That was grand, and we're actually on the way down to the beach then, just to sort of recover. And I was standing at the traffic lights and pressed the button, and like, we need to go back right now. I had to run back to the hotel with like my legs closed. And then we spent 2 days of our holiday then like tag teaming each other in and out of the bathroom. It was not a way to see Morocco anyway. So sheep's brains, leave them off the menu.
And that is the thing though. Why is it that is when you do go on holidays is that you go, sheep brains, that's an amazing idea. And you just start like stuffing your face with something you've never eaten before. I think one of the big things for me was when I went to, when I was over in Bangkok and I was just eating like kind of meat on a stick. And your mom was like, oh yeah, it's pork or it's cow or it's whatever. And there was a couple of times where I just went and I bit into something and I was like, this ain't good. Like it tasted good at the time or whatever. It was a bit funky. And one thing was like people were giving out, like scorpions and crickets and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, all right, cool. But then when you talk to the local people, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, no, they're literally only for tourists. Like not that many people eat them, you know, like it's just a piss take. Like,
yeah. I think there's some things that I'd like to sort of just do whatever you can when you're away. But yeah, there's some dodgy food I'll just try to avoid in future because food poisoning is one of the worst things you can have. Like
it's so bad.
Yeah, so bad.
What about you, Ross? Has there ever been any sort of time where you've eaten something and you've instantly regretted it?
Yeah, I suppose in China I had chicken's feet. That was an experience. I think it's more, it's definitely a visual thing as well when you're eating chicken's feet. You know, they don't look appealing at all. Like they look like little dinosaur feet, or they're not great. Now, if they're doused in a nice enough sauce, you probably won't. They just taste like chicken. But like, I wouldn't go eating them again in a rush. But yeah, I suppose I have, as you said, I have a bit of a dairy intolerance. So, you know, it doesn't stop me from eating food at all. I still do it all the time when I shouldn't. I suppose if you want an embarrassing story.
No, there's no embarrassing stories here. I think we're all in the same boat.
No shame at all anyway, so I'll tell you anyway. But I was in town one time. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. Like it's closed down now, but it was on just the end of George Street. There's like Bow Lane or somewhere like that. Friar Grill or something. I think it's called the White Friar Grill. Friar Grill. And lovely restaurant. Food was great, but I remember having it was something like a leg of lamb with like mashed potatoes. It was, proper buttery, creamy mashed potatoes. There was obviously a lot of dairy in it. And then the person I was with also had got this like chocolate mousse dessert, and I was just like, they didn't like it, so I ate it. And I remember getting the taxi home, and we were coming through the Phoenix Park, not too far from where I live, but like, obviously it was about to pour through me, like, and I remember, like the handle at the top of the window, I was like grabbing that, and the sweat was streaming down my face, and I actually had to get the taxi. I was like, can you please just pull over? I actually thought I was going to have to go behind the tree in the park. But when I got out of the taxi, right, like when you stand up, you get that kind of instant relief. Because when you're sitting down, you've got all this pressure and you just feel like you're going to explode. But when I got out and I actually walked over towards behind the tree, and I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to do it here. I'll be able to get back. So I jumped back in the taxi and I was like, can you please just go as fast as you can to Castleknock Village? Dropped us at the pub, and I swear when I got to the pub, I didn't even just threw my wallet at the person I was with, and I ran into the bathroom straight down, and I just made it. But I could have easily gone all over the floor in the pub on the way down to the bathroom. I'd say so I'm very, very lucky. But that's what dairy does to me sometimes,
Like, and that's the thing. I'm the exact same. But like, I could go sit here now, and I'm after eating a pizza or whatever, and I'd be grand. It's like, oh, cool. But then I'd be like lying in bed, or I'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning, or I wake up and I'm like, oh,
it's not.
Bitten off more than you can chew there, lads.
Like cheese is so good, you cannot,
Yeah.
Pizza. I just had a pizza there, loads of cheese, cheesy chips. I'm gonna regret it tomorrow. I'm sure, but like, it was worth it. It was so worth it.
So the hometown heroes, basically, what is your favorite restaurant, takeaway, or food truck? Now, this necessarily, it doesn't have to be in where you're currently living. It could be in anywhere that you've ever been, really, to be honest. So it could be a place where if you flew into, say, like the likes of New York or whatever, if you've been on holidays in a certain restaurant in Spain, like with me and Ross, we have the Camp Pilot stuff. I know for a fact we would definitely probably murdered the pronunciation of that restaurant's name. But like if I was flying into Ibiza now, that would be the first restaurant that I'd go to. Is there any sort of restaurants like that you just love to go to if you've gotten the chance? Or it could be at home by yourself, whatever. It's just a place that it's amazing, you know, and you'd go every time you're there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't prepare enough for it. Definitely some of the best food I have had was in Austin in Texas. You know, a big barbecue scene over there. I didn't make it into Franklin barbecues. Were probably one of the most famous barbecues in the world because they literally start serving out food at 7 o'clock in the morning, and when it's gone, it's gone. So missed out on that, but just the buzz over there of like just the sun, the warmth, just the atmosphere, and just eating barbecue like every year ago. It's definitely up there on my list of food destinations. Yeah. If you don't like meat though, you won't like Austin.
What about yourself, Russ?
I suppose my favorite restaurant. It's kind of hard to think of restaurants now because like nowhere is open.
Yeah.
You know, like usually it's nearly what? Well, it's a good few months since I've been to a restaurant, and I think the last one that I was in was Sprezzatura in town, which is an Italian pasta place. And I absolutely love it. It's like for the last year or two, like it's the best place I've been to, hands down, for a couple of reasons. One, the food is absolutely insane. Like it's fresh pasta made, like literally fresh every day. And they have all different specials. So like have like a duck ragu, and everything is like up on a nice chalkboard. I love the layout of the place. They have wines on tap, which I love. Nice wines as well. And then the price. So like I think if you went for a meal with you and your partner, like you could get, you know, 2 mains, 2 starters, and 2 drinks, and it'll cost you like maybe 40 or 50 euro, like under 50 quid. Wow. Like the price, like it's absolutely insane the quality of food you get for like what you're paying. And that's one thing that I love about it. It's like they don't try and overprice the food. They keep the menu simple, and they don't try like to overcomplicate things. It's just so good. Like really, really like has to be my favorite restaurant. But yeah, like there's a lot of food trucks that have popped up in the last while now that I'm a big fan of as well. Kind of pop-up restaurants. And, you know, Happy Endings, I tried that last week. That was the chicken burger place. That was absolutely insane. The yuksung fries and the poutine fries. And that's one of the fusion things you were talking about. I thought that was amazing.
Well, that's the place on Dorset Street. Right.
Yeah, so they have two. They opened the pop-up here in Dublin 15 as well.
Okay, right.
So yeah, if you get a chance to try it, man, it's so good. Yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah. I got the Jimmy burger. I think it was like the satay one. And it's got little bits of like either pineapple or mango in it. It's so good, like really good.
Yeah. Stuff. Do you know what I've just noticed now? The reason why the dog's going mad is because she thinks you're here and she keeps on trying to look for you.
Me?
Yeah. Because she's never done this before on any of the other podcasts. So yeah, she's freaking out. But, cool. Yeah, no, that's like the Happy Endings place is great. I was just trying to think like any kind of iconic restaurants that I've ever kind of been to where it was something that I'd definitely go back to. And I think one of the best experiences that me and Ross have ever had was when we went to Frank's and I drank wine for the first time.
Oh yeah. Jesus Christ.
And
that was a memorable night. Do you want me to tell the story or do you?
No, you tell the story. You can throw me under the bus if you want, but yeah. So I'll let Ross tell this.
Yeah,
story. It's very funny.
So Kev was like, "Oh, I got this. I hadn't heard of Frank's before. It's actually a really cool concept, and it's basically it's an old butcher shop, and they have this big, massive butcher blocks table. So it's kind of like a joint dining experience for you and other people. I think there's like 10 people sitting there or something like that.
Chairs, yeah.
But they have all these wine pairings which are meal, and it was the first time we met Jeremy, who has the tackle truck, and he was doing the night there, and like the food was insanely good. But like you're literally he's cooking it in front of you, so it's like a real personal experience. Like I was driving and Kev wasn't, so this is usually at first because like usually the other way around. Yeah. And Kev doesn't drink wine. Kev never drinks wine. They were like, I want to pair some wine. I was like, I can't. I'm driving, so Kev will. So like with every course, I think there was like 5 or 7 courses. Like
it was mad.
He had a glass of wine with each course, and like he was scuttered by the end of it. Like, and it was me and Kev, 2 lads, and then there was all like couples who were there for like a really nice night. And same if you're ruined it by the end of it. Like Kev was so, I don't know, you weren't that bad, but you're a bit late. Myself, Kev, and Jeremy were like we built up this like bromance over the evening, and we went out to visit him the following weekend in his tackle truck and stuff like that. But like Kev was shouting across the table to him, and everyone's like, "Jesus, let's get out of here! Like this is getting out of hand." Like wine drunk Kev.
Oh, it was like I think one of the biggest eye opener thing for me was as I thought this was an exclusive. I didn't know he had an Irish missus, and I didn't know that like he was going to be here afterwards, because like the tickets were expensive enough, but it was a cool kind of thing. Because it was 7 meals or whatever. Like, it was class. But I just thought like it was going to be like a once-off kind of thing, and like, oh no, this chef is just going to come in. Turns out he lives up the road.
No,
he lives up the road, and so he turned around and I was like, "Oh man, a safe home and all." And he was looking at me, going, "What are you talking about? I live in Dublin, you man thing." Like, oh shit!
I have similar wine stories. Well, actually, you just reminded me there. A couple of years ago, we went to Peru to go like climb up Machu Picchu and stuff. And when you go to Peru up to Cusco, the altitude there just gets you, like it hits you like a ton of bricks. So it's up about like 3,500 meters or something. So instantly when you get off the plane and stuff, you feel like a little bit woozy and lightheaded and stuff. So me and Erica, we packed our bags into the hotel and said we're going to Cusco just to chill out for the day, just get a bit of food and go back and relax. And we sat down in a restaurant, and very simple, same as yourself, like a sort of a shares table. We thought, we'll have a little bit of wine with dinner. Like, I'm not thinking that a bottle of wine will go a lot further when you're up at that altitude. Oh, yeah. So we were like tucking into a bit of plate of food and half a glass, and you're like, wow, I feel fantastic now. I can drink a bit of wine, but we had a bottle of wine between us, and the two of us had to be sent home to bed basically for the whole day. We lost the first day of holiday. So drinking at altitude is the best way to get drunk cheaply.
There you go.
Fly me to the moon.
Fly me to the moon. And the first question is, any tips or tricks that you've acquired over the years in regards to traveling around the world? So I think you kind of read our minds on that one. So if you want to go get locked, go take an airplane or go climb Machu Picchu in Peru.
Good altitude.
Yeah, also, Cusco has the highest point of Guinness. There's an Irish bar there. It's supposedly it's the highest point of Guinness in the world. So there's 2 boxes there.
Happy days. And the one thing I definitely kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, and something that I have here in notes, is when it does come to traveling with camera equipment. Now, I know you probably haven't done that much international traveling, but we did go down to Killarney and stuff like that in Kerry, and I know, Nev, that you were kind of traveling all around Ireland at the time. But like at the end of the day, we're carrying thousands of euro worth of camera equipment in your car, and we're camping and all that kind of stuff. Is there any sort of like tips and tricks that you have, and so things don't get broken, or like what way do you do? Do you just keep it on your body at all times, or what way does it work?
No, I think investing in a good like camera bag was the best way. So you just everything's packed in nice and tight in the camera ground. I'd never check in a camera gear at all. Just bring that as a luggage like onto the plane with me. Other than that, though, like camera gear is fairly sturdy, and it's a toolbox really. If you want to keep it in pristine condition, off you go. But mine's bashed up and salted every week I go out. So that's me personally. But some other people might cherish their stuff with insurance and the like. But I think it's as long as you just look after it and don't get it wet, keep batteries charged up, you're good to go.
What about you,
Ron? Don't forget your SD cards.
Yeah.
I know Muno's done that. And remember, we hiked up Carrantoul, and we got to the very top of Carrantoul, and Muno had his camera with him, and someone got proposed to like literally behind us, and Muno was taking loads of pictures, And after he realized there was no SD card in, and he's like telling them that he emailed the pictures to them and all. So like, one thing is to always remember to bring extra SD cards, or like keep them in your camera. I'm notorious for it. I'll take it out, and because I have an SD card reader here, and I'll put it into my computer to put them onto, Infinity Photo. And next thing, I'll always end up leaving one in, but I have two, so I always have one in the camera at a time. But like, it's so easy to forget them.
I honestly think
you could be planning out to go to location. You've done all your planning. The conditions are perfect. You could be going out to do Astro or something, and like, you get there and you have no SD card, so you've literally wasted all your time. So yeah, that's a big one.
I honestly think in this day and age, cameras shouldn't turn on without the SD cards in them. Like, it's.
Yeah, I think my one it'll flash on the screen when there's no SD card in it. But I think some of the Sonys that lets you do it with it.
You should beep if you leave the house without it. Like,
yeah. Or they're like, I don't understand why cameras just don't have a set integrated, like 32 gigs integrated memory built into the camera.
That's it. Yeah, it should.
And then like, because if you're there and it's in a case of an emergency, like I don't know how many times there's ever been cases where you want to take a photo or you want to do something, and you're like, I don't care about my wedding pictures, delete. Like, you're like, I want to take this picture of a swan, or the two swans that are meeting, they're both, their heads made a love heart for this one time, and the sun sets in the middle. You'll delete anything to get the photo. Like, that's the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, maybe we could make up some sort of petition or something and say that there should be a guaranteed internal memory on all professional cameras going forward or something. It's so strange that there isn't. Like,
no, you're totally right. Like, maybe there's a conspiracy behind it. Everyone should look into
it. That's it. And so the next question then, what are your mains, do's and don'ts when it comes to going to a new restaurant or using sort of new equipment? One of the main things is that I've noticed, I bought a drone, and I was like, oh, grand. And I went in and was messing about with it. But our first sort of maiden voyage was me and Ross, and we were up the Wicklow Mountains. And it turns out that like the app that I downloaded wasn't the correct app and all this kind of stuff. Has there been any sort of things like that have ever happened to you in regards to traveling or when it comes to using new equipment?
I'd say one thing is, if you're going to get into like photography as a hobby, is just spend the money up front for good stuff. Because I'd say Ross will agree with me. Like, I've bought like 4 or 5 shitty, crappy tripods that have all gone to shit, and then you have to splash out €300 on a good one that you keep forever. Same with lenses and stuff. There are certain things you shouldn't cheap out on, like, your tires, your runners, and your bed. But camera gear, get the good stuff, because you'll end up paying for it back then.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, even when it comes to then restaurants and stuff like that, so we've kind of talked to a couple of people, and their sort of tips and tricks is that if you are going to be doing some research behind on going to a restaurant, especially if it's in a new location, is in to try and find like the same restaurants that are popping up on numerous occasions that would be on different searches. Have you kind of come up with any tips or tricks? I know you sent us to that place in Kerry. When we went in, we had a rake of pints and some nice food and stuff like that. But that was just like word of mouth.
It's traditional Irish cooking now, wasn't it? So something you don't really find in restaurants these days. Everything is kind of some sort of cuisine, whereas like this was just homemade food, but it was like kind of fancy at its own way as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Good question, Kev. I think word of mouth seems to be the way forward. Or you see someone post on Instagram, especially yourselves, like you see something pop up, and then you hear two other people mention, go like, right, that's on my list now. I rarely search for nice Italian restaurants in Dublin or fucking nice best seafood.
I used to use Yelp all the time, but then I think the likes of Instagram, there's when you have a page that you can go to, or you follow someone like yourself, the Taker Man, that you can see recommendations there. It's a good go-to, for recommendations,
Yeah.
I think Yelp is kind of something that's gone. Like people, the reviews of some places, you have to really go and see it for yourself. And if there's a visual aspect, like a photo of food from the restaurant, you can tell by looking at a photo near enough, if it's good quality or not. And if you look at a restaurant that doesn't have an Instagram page or photos of their food, mainly it's probably because it's not that great. So I wouldn't really go to a restaurant if they didn't have a visual. That's what I would see before I went and tried their food. I'd always like do my research.
As long as it's not on the board outside the restaurant, faded 10 years old pictures of burgers.
Yeah.
Loving Dublin used to be good for that, but I think it's a bit that sort of it's very sort of paid ads for now, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
yeah. All of his stuff now is all it all seems to be all sort of paid, and it's like, and today we're going to go out to such and such, and then you go through this amazing article, all these amazing photos, and it turns out photography by professional photographer, and then it's like ad, paid partnership, all this kind of stuff at the bottom. And you're like, well, that's a bit like, not saying like you're going to get an honest opinion and stuff like that, but it's kind of like when you look at the Big Mac in McDonald's and you're like, oh, deadly, and then you open up the box and you go, oh, not too sure about that. Like, I don't know how many.
If anybody needs a photographer to take pictures of food, there you go. We can make it look better.
We can do it for you. We can make it look even better.
Yeah, and like especially when I was over in Bali and stuff like that. One thing that I thought was so funny, like being in Southeast Asia or whatever, is seeing all of these glass cabinets and then looking at all this really like crazy looking food, and then you look back up and you're like, that's plastic, like it's like a fake bowl of stuff, and you're like, what? And it's real shiny and it looks great, and then you're like, no, that's literally a fake bowl of shit. So like that's definitely happened to me a good few times. Just getting completely plagued by something like shiny, like a magpie or something. It was crazy. So we'll just kind of go down to the last question, and it will be: would you order it again? Was it something that you felt really good value for money? Did it taste good? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. So the Dolce Vita was the restaurant. As I said, it's an Italian restaurant in Kilmainham. I was looking at the pizza prices on their own were expensive. I think they're like 16, 17 euro. Maybe that's okay. But they were doing Monday to Thursday deal. You get 2 for 18 euro, which is really good value. So today's bank holiday Monday, so that's perfect. Got some sides and stuff, so really, really affordable. Definitely go back.
Oh, happy days, huh? Good stuff. And what about yourself, Ross? You popped their cherry, even though you had a bit of a mess up on the sides and stuff like that. But all in all, it tasted good.
All in all, yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know if I'd order it again because it's probably just such a big selection out this way, and I think, I live very close to my favorite pizza place, which is called the Goat Scruff. It's actually like a food truck down by the Strawberry Beds, and they do like by far the best pizzas I've had in Dublin. So like they're literally a stone's throw away. They're probably like 10-minute drive down, so I don't mind driving down and collecting it. So if that was my choice, for this, I said I'd go to Just Eat. I'll try something new that I haven't done before, taste it and try it. And it was actually very good. I think the value for money was brilliant. Yeah. The pizza was good. The cheese fries were amazing. But if I was to order pizza, I'd definitely pick the latter now.
Happy days.
Once that 5K is up, we'll spin out there again, man.
Yeah, definitely. Goat Scruff is the business, and hopefully, like the Strawberry Beds pub will be open. We can get a few Guinness as well.
Yeah, a couple of little snaky pints. Cool. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk to you before we kind of wrapped everything up, just in regards to what you guys do when it comes to your photography and stuff like that in regards to storage. Are you signed up to any of the cloud systems and stuff like that on your phone, or are you walking around with a huge big hard drive? What way does it work for storing the likes of all the photographs that you take?
Yeah, I have a hard drive. I have SD cards. I don't really use cloud services for storing photos. I don't. I think it's just I'd rather have something physical that I can go plug in and flick through. But yeah, maybe it's something I should look into. I don't know if I have a view of any. Do you use the cloud service? Is it better or is it worse? I haven't really tried any cloud services for storing my photos. Thank you.
Yeah, I used to use Adobe Lightroom, and they have like by default it's like 30 gigs of storage or something. So it's fine for basic storage for them. I did upgrade to terabyte storage. That's nice to like get your full catalog. But I got very full. Got very slow after about 800 gigabytes or something. So I dropped it, and now it's all back to hard drives and that. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that with Lightroom, I obviously have Lightroom on my mobile, and that's great for stock photos. But when you're flicking through to like older photos, it takes a very long time to load them up. So that kind of turned me off. Cloud storage is just loading times and stuff. Whereas your hard drive, you're clicking and you're straight in. You know. I actually switched from Adobe as well. I'm using Affinity Photo, so it's like a one paid off service. And I actually find it really good. Like, it takes a while getting used to it because you get so used to Lightroom and the whole Adobe suite and stuff. But I'm actually enjoying it because it's like I'm learning again how to use the photo editing software. It's interesting. And I've been watching loads of YouTube tutorials on how to do certain stuff that I probably wouldn't have done before, because you just kind of get used to the basics in Lightroom and keep using them over and over again. Whereas like I'm kind of, because it's a new software, and every time I go into YouTube looking at how to video, something else will pop up on how to do this. Like, oh Jesus, I didn't even know you could do that in Affinity Photo, and it's actually class.
Yeah, so keep learning is most important, isn't it?
Yeah, you keep learning.
Every stale just with Lightroom.
Yeah, I find that, yeah.
Yeah, like what happened to me in regards to, and the reason why I asked you this question is because I've actually lost all of my photos for the last 2 years. I had all of my stuff for basically all of my Thailand trip is gone, Bali all gone. Ross was there when I showed him what I did to my phone, like, as I went on to be honest, it was a bit of a 5-week bender in Southeast Asia where I was like, it's grand. I have a phone, there's a case on it, it's waterproof, it's fine. And brought it back and showed it to Ross or whatever. And the phone. Remember years ago, you used to be able to get like this key ring that had water in it.
He was texting me while he was in Bali going, my phone keeps flickering, the screen keeps going this colour, and I was like, it must be faulty or whatever. He's like, bring it back and put it in. He brings it back, we're sitting in the pub, and he goes, I'll go, give us a look at your phone and let us see what's wrong with it. So I take it out of the case, and as soon as I take it out the case, the back of the case is covered in water. Horrible, probably Bali water he brought home, and the whole back glass of the phone is smashed. I was like, "There's your fucking problem, Kev." Like,
I was like, I had a case on it. I thought it was grand. Like, I think there's literally water coming out of it. But yeah, no, I lost all of my photos that I had. So, and that's one of the main reasons why I kind of want to, like, I was kind of holding these questions in to ask you while you were here. You know.
Like, on your phone, I believe in having cloud storage. Like, Huawei have their own cloud storage. It's actually like, if you've the new P40 Pro, you actually get free 50 gigabytes yearly cloud storage when you buy the phone. So you actually get 55 gigabytes. And I think for like, is it 250 gigabytes? It's like maybe a tenner or something for the year. Yeah. Actually really good. And that's a lot of photos and videos in storage. So like, maybe learn your lesson and do that next time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Especially when it comes to traveling and stuff like that. I think.
Yeah, if you're doing a lot of traveling, it's definitely worth investing the tenner. Like a tenner is 2 points, if you put it that way. Or half of the pizza you had tonight was only a tenner. So it's worth the investment for having those photos.
Oh, big when you put it like that, it makes no sense to have something.
Doesn't it?
It's definitely one thing now, like when it comes to everybody being able to kind of go and fly and travel and all that kind of stuff again. It's the first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set up the cloud account, do the pay thing, give them the €10. Every photo I take, I know it automatically is going to go onto this magical cloud in the sky, and it'll be there until I delete it hammered or whatever, you know, or to go from there. To infinity and beyond. The last question that we have here is called Infinity and Beyond. So it's just basically a quick little thing of what does the guest want to promote, and there's anyone you want to do a shout out to. So Nev, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I suppose if people want to check out my photographs, they can go to my website, which is lawless.com. My Instagram is then at Lawless Ireland, and that's it. I don't have any other social media platform.
Happy days, no, cool. And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just a ma, back home, Kenny, well, ma.
Like you're well in fucking winning streak. And what about yourself there, Ross?
Yeah, likewise, anyone wants to check out my photos, go on to Ros_Finan, Ross with one X. Just that's the Irish version. A lot of people spell it with two. So yeah, check out my page if you're interested in any prints. I ship all over Ireland and worldwide. If anyone wants any of the photos they like, And I want to give a shout out to Nuno Explorer for not making it last minute today
Oh, yeah.
for the podcast. He's been working like a dog, so fair play to him. But shout out to Nuno.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries. Well, we'll definitely sort something out again. I definitely think once we get kind of the studio and we get the all clear where we can all meet up again and go in and have a few beers in the studio and stuff like that. It's definitely something that we're going to be working on in the near future. But we just kind of have to keep our heads down and everyone make sure that they wash their hands and wear a mask when they're supposed to. And go from there. So I just want to say a huge big thank you just to the two lads that have hopped on today, kind of giving us some great kind of tips and tricks and talk about some local food that's based in Dublin, Ireland. And so that's pretty much everything, guys. So thank you so much.
Cheers, Kev.
Thanks, Kev.
No worries, guys. Thanks.